Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Plan in Traffic. I say this every week. We do this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern. So please tell your friends that we talk about cars, boats, trucks, and anything you put gas in. What up, Ray Ray?
Lewis, I'm here to testify, right hand, that you do say that every week. You're right.
Every week.
And we talk about cars and that stuff, but we also have ways of delving off the side roads and the branches of the conversation. Uh,
Yep.
we're guilty.
Yes, sir. So before we start, if you look over the top of Ray's head, there's a QR code. And if you want to help support our channel, we have hats, cups, T-shirts, and things like that, which I don't have any on right now. Where's my hats? But we got a little bit of everything. We got ski caps for everybody is stuck in the snow. So go check them out.
Yeah.
And it helps our channel keep it moving.
Excellent.
So Bill, what's his name? Billy Velvet?
Velvet.
Billy Velvet. Okay, he made a good point from last week because we were supposed to talk about LS motors and 350s and,
Right.
and what's better on the two. So what's your thoughts on it, Ray?
Yeah, I had in the sentence, I said, if you were to build two engines, and I assume we're talking about an older school 350 versus the LS. But if you were to build them to similar specs, both fuel injected, headers, blah, 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 whatever, I think hands down, the LS is going to win. I hate to say it, but I think the technology is there, especially in the heads.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could even put a similar cam profile in an earlier engine. I think the LS is going to win hands down without a doubt. And I think to make Vince smile, I think it's because of the Ford technology that went into the LS head that a lot of people don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
And people who don't know about don't want to talk about it because, God forbid, something cross mingles. So that was my answer.
Yeah. So for the cost effective, you can't beat the LS. I don't think. Even with the Fords or the Chryslers, just
well, and to the LS's benefit, you can still use used parts and get the same outcome where you can't, you just can't do that with something older. So I think even if you went part for part, I don't know. Terry would know if it would cost more to build the LS. Let's say you had the basic engine, and they both had to go through a machine shop, get cleaned up. Now we know a lot of LSs come out of the junkyard, get a set of head gaskets, and go right into hot rods. We know that.
Yeah.
Because the metallurgy is better, the piston rings are better. Let's just say you kind of kept it dollar for dollar. Even if you had an older 350, you could clean up. The cams may be around similar prices. But coil packs and all of that for an LS are going to cost more than a coil for a
right.
So I think the LS may come out a little higher if you had to buy the parts. Again, that's just splitting hairs because it depends where you want that argument to go.
So I've heard that too, that you could take a junkyard LS and you don't have to do the bottom end too much. So I think on a 350, if you got out of the junkyard, you would have to do the bottom end too.
And I know guys Terry's done it. I know guys who've done that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the metallurgy is so much better. The blocks are stronger on the bottom end. The metallurgy in the pistons and the rings is far superior in the LS. And yeah, they're taking 100,000 plus mile motors. Like I said, they're head gasketing them, maybe doing a head swap or maybe cleaning them up, and then they're sending it back out. So yeah, I mean it's almost an unfair fight. It's like Muhammad Ali and me in the ring. It's like okay.
Yeah.
I got a good record, but look who he is.
Right. So what I'm finding with like I have friends that they're old school guys and they're like, oh, I got a 350 in the garage. I'm not going to switch over to LS. And I was like, man, you're missing out if you don't, they got a choice to go to LS or 350, but they're still old school. I'm telling them, I'm like, hey, you can still run your air conditioner and get big horsepower and good fuel economy.
Well, truthfully, there's a little more to it also, because then you start getting into the bolt-on stuff, the headers, and I mean, you could use a GM drive belt system if you want. A lot of guys go aftermarket. That's money.
Mhm.
And even, you may have to use an engine mount kit. It may not fit, drop right into your car. And then, of course, you have the big thing. You have the harness, which you don't need with the old school engine, even if you're using fuel injection. Well, they did. I mean, there is a bit of a harness needed, but it can be done individually, and the aftermarket supports it. I did it on my own car. So there are some costs that you're going to incur. I think it may be one of those things where a little down the road you found out, wow, I'm into this for a little more than I expected right now, but I'm going to have this really killer engine. And then what transmission are you going to put behind it too? You
Yeah.
know, that's so yeah, it's a good argument. It's a good it's a good bar room beer drinking argument.
Yeah. Yeah. Because 350's been the man for how many years? 50 years?
Oh yeah, well more, yeah, 60. Um,
Yeah.
I mean the small block since 1955 revolutionized hot rodding and everything with the 265 and the 55 Chevy, and then of course every manufacturer had their own. Then of course you had the big blocks, and everything started diverging, and everybody had the flavor of the day.
Hmm.
But the LS now, that platform, um, you're getting big block power out of a small block engine, and all manufacturers too. I mean, I know some guys that have some 347 Fords small block, and they're killer engines. It's an excellent platform.
Right.
It really is. So I heard somebody say it. I forget exactly who it was. It might have been Steve Magnante, who said, we all thought the horsepower wars were dead after the mid 70s. The insurance companies killed the muscle car, and that was it. Went to the malaise era of the 80s. Then in the 90s, things started coming back up with the SVO Mustang,
Hmm.
the LT1s and the Impala and the Camaros, and Chrysler was still lagging a little bit. Ford was hot, like I said, with the SVO platform and the injected 302s.
Right.
And then we figured, wow, is that a blip on the radar? What's going to happen now? How are they going to kill that? And now it only got better, with
Yeah. I
800
wonder what.
horsepower out the door.
Yeah. I wonder what flipped that switch. Like.
Well, the cafe rules kept changing, and that's why I always tell my wife. I said, they kept regulating that the manufacturers had to get better fuel economy and have higher safety ratings. So, one way to do that, you make a car lighter, you can get better fuel economy because it's less weight mass to move. But
Mhm.
now you have to make it heavier with all the safety stuff, and cars are a lot heavier now than they were back in the day. And now you're fighting yourself because you have to make the car heavier to make it safe, but you want to put power into it. Now you need even more power to make the heavier car fast,
Mhm.
and they figured out a way to do it, and it really is. My take on it is it's engine management. All the engine management, electronics, of course, better fuel injection,
Right.
better intake designs, better cam designs. So the engineers really sat down kind of with a clean sheet of paper and said, how do we do this? And they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure did. I mean, they came back hard too.
Mm.
You can go buy a car off the showroom with 700 horse. It's crazy.
800, yeah, something like that. And SVT, oh, and the new vets, ridiculous. I mean, yeah, crazy horsepower.
Yep.
So, but the older motors, while still lagging behind to some degree, you can still do a lot with them, like the iron small block Chevys. Like I said, the 347 Fords, my own Pontiac. I didn't even stroke it crazy. I was going to go to a 472 kit in the thing if my crank was bad, but the
Hmm.
crank was pristine. So I said, okay, leave it. Let's just go 30 over. Now it's 406. And then, fuel injected it. I may roller cam it within a year or two. I may go back into the engine. Maybe, I don't know. But right now it runs better than it ever did. Makes a ton of power. I didn't have
Hmm.
a dyno, so I didn't know. I only have estimates.
Right.
But you can feel it. It's stronger than it ever was, and now it runs better.
Oh,
And
it's good. Better fuel too. I bet.
and it's old technology. It's a 1968 cast iron engine with cast iron heads.
Hmm.
But yeah, so you can do a lot with the old stuff still
Yeah.
if you're inclined.
Yep. Yep. Well, let's get the fellas in and see what they're talking about.
All right.
There you
Yeah,
go.
one of the main perpetrators right there.
Yeah, Brian,
Hey guys.
Ray,
Squirrel.
Where is that Matt go, man? Damn it, I gotta talk to him this week.
Ray, you
Yeah.
hit that major word, technology.
Oh, without a doubt.
What's
Yeah,
up, Paul?
right.
Because look at it this way, because you guys were talking about the small block, the 260, the V8. What was big? What was big in that era? Straight eights, straight sixes,
Flatheads. Yeah.
Flatheads.
flathead
Yeah, that
boards.
was,
The technology.
The overhead valve was revolutionary. You know, it was revolutionary.
Well, and go back to the Beach Boys when he's talking about his engine is ported and relieved and stroked and bored.
Right.
That's all stuff for a flathead.
Sure. And they still do it today. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
still technology is used today. Right. But yeah,
no,
I'm
look, no,
Lewis asked the interesting question of where did it all turn? And here's an argument point I'm going to make.
Okay.
It all turned with the 1987 Buick Grand National.
Well, the Grand National, I think, in my
Because
opinion,
what the-
opened a lot of eyes because I remember the first time I was at the track
Well,
and I heard V6s running. I was like, what the hell is that? And then
Yeah.
said, what the hell was that? Because, holy shit. So, yeah,
1987, the Grand National was the first car to have an electronic engine control module,
Mhm.
and that's when they found out, hey, wait a minute, we can go in here and we can change boost and we can change timing and we can do all this just by plugging it in, and that's when it went nuts.
and that's
And
what
then
I meant when
everybody went,
that's what I meant when I said engine management, because all of that goes in, cam timing, fuel injection, ignition curves, it's all under the engine management umbrella. And
right.
you're
Once
right.
they figured that out, the doors flew open.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but remember the car builder? I think it was Rad Rods by Troy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Or Tempanier. Yeah, Tempanier.
Yeah, Topanga or something like that.
Whatever. Yeah.
Something like
So I remember back when they were tuning a Corvette. It was probably a 93 or 94, and they were pushing crazy horsepower out of it by tuning it. And that was the first time I seen that. So
Okay.
this had to be 20 years ago, I bet. Maybe a little longer.
Probably more than that.
Yeah.
And even around that time, a little earlier, my buddy Christian, who we've had on the show, Orient Express, they were doing it with race bikes. The big race teams were onto that already, and they were doing computer tuning back then. And these were the guys, Vance and Hines. These were the guys that were winning, and that's why. They were like the Warren Johnsons of the Pro Stock class, because they were on that forefront of technology and using things that other people didn't understand even fully. And that's what'll do it.
Okay, so you
John
brought up the
Lincolnfelder.
Buick Grand. Go ahead.
I was going to say, look at John Lincolnfelder, what he did with some of those early C4 Corvettes and all that. Once they got a decent, that slick body, and Lincolnfelder was a drag racer. He was a comp racer, very
SLP
accomplished
performance.
comp racer. And
Yeah.
But Ray, did you ever see any of the Suburbans that they did? The
Oh, yeah.
Lincolnfelder Suburbans with like a 700 or 800 horsepower 454 in it.
Yes.
Crazy, but again, fuel injection. They were pushing the envelope.
Oh yeah.
You talked about the Buick Grand National and the GNX 87, but you got to go back to 1978. The Buick Regal Turbo with the first of the G bodies, the first of the Buick V6 turbos, and those were carbureted.
T-types.
Then they weren't called T-types. The T-type came later. T-type came in the 80s, or the name T-type.
T-type
came
had
in
a
the
throttle
80s.
body on it.
Yes,
T-type had a throttle
T-types
body.
had throttle bodies.
I thought I saw a T-type one time with a carb on it, but again, like you said, it was a
Couldn't change.
turbocharged 3.8 liter.
3.8
Yeah.
liter. They were Buick Regal turbos, and most of them had very fancy interior, velour interior, bucket seats, column shift. There was a bulge in the hood to the left. It wasn't in the center.
Mhm.
And the
They even
carburetor
start
sat
playing
to the
around
left.
with aluminum. They
don't-
started playing around with aluminum panels then.
Yes,
Oh, panels,
I
okay.
think the aluminum came in 1980. I don't think it came in the late 70s. I think it was
But-
right around 1980.
They
But
start
then
playing with.
Lightening them up, yeah.
they started doing the fuel injection in like 82 or 83, and you had the T-types and the Grand Nationals come in, and that's when that guy Kenny Bell was really paying attention to that stuff. And they took those cars before the Grand National GNX in 87. They had those cars in 85 doing outrageous horsepower out of those stock V6s.
Kenny Bell, Kenny Duttweiler.
Yeah, they weren't getting to play back then. People weren't really paying. The people in the know were paying attention, but the masses, they didn't drop it yet. But yeah, that was everything's got to begin somewhere, right?
Yes.
And I'm glad they did.
Paul, do you remember that Buick in 1978 also had a turbo LeSabre?
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
No, me either.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was just the 1 year the car was too big for the V6.
They had a lot of things going on with the different programs with General Motors and the different divisions back then. And what ended up happening was a lot of mergers and crossovers. So that Buick V6 engine, non-turbo carbureted version, ended up in Buicks, Oldsmobiles, Pontiacs, Chevrolets,
Well, that was the corporate era, yeah.
and the Chevy 305s ended up in Oldsmobiles and Buicks and Cadillacs, and yeah, it was a complete crossover of everything.
That goes
Pontiac
way
Trans
back. 'Cause
Ams
if you
had
just look at,
Oldsmobile engines.
that goes way back because look at when they came out with the GTO, and here they are. They had that Pontiac. It could do more, but God forbid that they outdid the Corvette.
Right.
They all had their platform that this was the car, and they all put a hush button on them that they couldn't do more or carry on more.
Actually, more aligned with the Corvette was the Camaro, where you had an LT1 Camaro, and every generation the Camaro always had to be rated 10 horsepower less than the Corvette because they couldn't top the Corvette.
Mm-hmm.
So the LT1 in the Camaro was a 350, and the Corvette was a 360 horse. It was just corporate. They just didn't want that car upstage. That's why the Banshee never made it, because it was a smaller engine and a lighter car that would have outperformed the Corvette, and corporate killed it because they said, no, you can't upstage the Corvette. God forbid.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, again, like I said, there was a lot, but they went through. I mean, hell, look at, I know you guys hate when I start getting on my German stuff, but you look at Audi and what they did and how they were outperforming everybody, and they kept adding weight. When you got into racing, they kept adding weight, and those cars were only 5-cylinder turbos, but their technology and engine management, drivetrain management was so much far ahead. They kept adding more weight to the car, and they were still winning.
Well, there are those two words again, engine management. But you're right, drivetrain management was the other half of it. Because with all the power in the world, if you can't get it to the ground, you ain't going nowhere.
Brian, you
And
talk
of course,
about
when the track came apart, those cars even outperformed better. And when you got into the 80s, right before the last aspirated motors, the M5, the M3s, and the M5s, the Audis. I mean, those were all 10, 11,000 RPM screaming motors, and those were naturally aspirated out of the factory, and they would run like a grape ape. But again, it's God forbid, it didn't have a bow tie or a circle on it, so nobody cared.
You talk about like the 4,000 and 5,000 series Audis and stuff.
Well, I'm talking about like the Audi that time would have been a Audi Quattro or a not a 4,000. What would have been the next generation would have been
What are the 5,000?
90.
The 5,000 was after the 4, then it was the 90.
Yeah, they went to a 90, and then the A4.
Right, did the A platform.
If you ever saw a A4 with a flare bodied, a wide body, that was one mean motherfucker because that was a V8 car. And you know,
Yeah, I know those
like I
cars.
said, that car would scream. And but again, because it didn't have a bow tie or a blue oval on it, nobody cared.
Well, but that's the thing, though. In Europe, in European circles, those cars were highly revered and feared because they knew what they were seeing. It's only
And I
here that
hate
they.
and I hate people's feelings, but most of that technology that's used today, we did it 30 years ago.
Okay.
I was working on cars that were already drive-by-wire,
right.
and now everything is.
Yeah. It
They
was
were all
only here
scared.
that it was here that they were dissed. And all right, so there's some American pride for you. Listen, the Corvette guys are still up and down because Corvette, because pushrod engines are still competing on a world stage. I think it's amazing myself that they still are, truthfully, but
Well,
they figured out how to do it.
Go look back at the Rochester mechanical fuel injection in 56 and 57.
Yeah, a bit problematic, but yeah, it was there.
But
Right.
still, it was that they were pushing the boundaries.
Sure.
It was, I mean,
Yeah.
they were trying things, and God bless those engineers and guys who were willing to go, hey, it's a crazy idea, let's try it.
I mean, you could look back to the 283, the Power Pack engine. They made it was almost dollar for dollar horsepower per cubic inches, and then the 302. They figured out how to just apply some old school hot rodding to a small block and make a 302, and again dominate. And so I mean the evolution is great. I mean everybody, all manufacturers were doing it because nobody wanted to be left behind, obviously.
Well, again, look at 1957. Smokey Unic took a 4-inch bore motor and made a 427 cubic inch small block V8 in 1957, and was begging for GM, and they basically went, and he left and went to Ford.
Well, because they had the Mark platform coming to on board with the big blocks, and they didn't want to, they just like pigeonholing things, I guess.
Yeah, that seems to be a normal thing to hear, that GM can something.
But it's also, this is where my radio co-host is smarter than me on this, because he studies all the history that I don't know, but I do know from things I've read. It all depends who's in what job at what time, because that's the guy that pushes the platform and pushes the projects. You look at guys like Bill Mitchell and Estes and DeLorean. They brought their pet products, their designs took over, and that's where that company went. In that time frame, then they would leave, go to another competitor, and then they would do it over there. So it really came down to who was. It's kind of like politics. It's who's in the who's in the White House. That's who's got the say.
Well, look at guys like Larry Shonona, who did.
We were just talking about him at the Corvette meeting. In fact,
did great stuff with GM. He did great stuff with Ford.
Without a doubt.
He was a hot rodder. To him, it didn't care if it had a bow tie or a blue oval. He was a hot rodder. He wanted to make it run and make it look good, and
And that's why he was more of a free agent. Would go company to company instead of staying with one, and then being handcuffed on his designs as well. Right. That was a smart guy.
Brian, do you still have your Audi?
Yeah, my 4000. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it back there still. Like you can.
No,
Covered in snow.
It's covered in snow. I like to try to get it in here one day. But
A friend of mine
it
just
actually
texted
runs
me.
pretty
County
good.
Executives haven't said it's an eyesore and you have to have it towed out.
We don't talk about that, Paul. We're still alive, so please.
Yeah, we're still on the air. Let's stay away from that one, right?
Yeah, we can't. Don't get me started on that.
Brian has enough SUVs cruising by his house slow.
Yeah.
One of my buddies just texted me. He said he had an early '80s Audi, a 5+5.
Yep.
What's the 5+5?
It's it was the body style. It was a 5-cylinder, 5-speed car.
What
It was
model?
like a 4000. Huh?
Oh, it was a 4000.
The 4000. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never heard that.
Hey, I tell you, mine. I had a Audi Performance Motorsport camshaft in mine, degree wheel. It had 411s in all four. That was the thing, and I had opened the exhaust up and it sounded a little funny going down the road, but
Yeah,
people looked at it because it didn't sound like a V8 and it didn't sound like a 4-cylinder. So
Right.
that 5-cylinder has this one hit miss. You know what I'm saying? You can tell.
Yeah.
But
I remember when I got my 5000, I'm like, I think I got tune-up parts, and the guy gave me like 5 plugs. I'm like, what? I said, dude, aren't you missing something here? He's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, 5-cylinder? I bought a 5-cylinder car? What the fuck? What is that?
I had a 3-cylinder.
I just wish
Geo.
mine was a turbo. I mean, I wish mine was a turbo.
Geos were badass.
Yeah.
The 3-cylinder.
Yeah, the what was the Geo? What was it?
Geo
Storm?
Metro? Geo
Metro.
Tracker.
That's what it was.
No, Metro. It was a Metro.
Geo Metro.
Yeah, the Tracker was the truck version or a Jeep version or whatever,
SUV,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
Brian, I
They
had one
had
for you.
the Geo Storm.
Yeah.
Brian, I used to have a 77 Pontiac, what was it, a Sunbird,
Sunbird, yeah.
that had an Oddfire 3.8 liter V6 in it and a T5.
Yes.
You know what? Tyler has one of those right now.
Does he?
That car was probably just the fastest. Just running through the gears in that car, you would be damn near 100 miles an hour by the time you stuck it in overdrive.
Wow.
Because it didn't weigh anything, and like I said, that little 3.8 would just zing to the moon. And I had a 4-barrel on it because the people they'd hear that thing running and it'd be like that thing skipping. Like, no, that's just the way it
That's
runs.
not fire.
Who was it? I saw
That was like I had a customer that had it was a 41 Buick business coupe, but it was the straight 8, and that thing, it was always so funny listening to that thing run and going down, and it would roll down the road, but that straight 8 was just the way it was formed or the way it fired. It's still in my memory of driving down the road with that thing. Big old, the pistons were like the size of coffee cans, it was kind of
First
kinda
time
crazy,
I saw a
but-
straight 8, I was working at a gas station, and I popped the hood to check the oil, and I started counting spark plugs. I got to 6, and I'm looking there going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'd heard of them, but I'd never seen one, and this was in 1969, 70,
Okay.
and the guy had it, and I'm looking at that thing going, wow. It was fascinating.
yeah.
You know what? A fun car. I had a Merkur XR4 Ti.
Yeah, those are nice cars.
They
Man,
were
listen.
badass fast cars too.
turbo
Man,
2.3 and a little 5-speed.
So
Yeah.
wait, Vince folded himself into a Sunbird. Lewis, you're folding yourself twice into a Merkur. Why don't you guys buy caddies and fucking do some
Listen.
corners, man?
So I hated those cars because they're ugly. They're the ugliest thing, right?
Back in the day, they were. Yeah, they were
And
weird.
so I repoed one and I had a chance to buy it. So I was like, well, I can get it for a good price. So I bought it, man. When I drove that thing, man, that car is fun to drive, man. I was beating Camaros and Transit, man. I was putting it on them, boy.
That's that German technology.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the
Mercurs were good.
Pinto motor.
2.3 liter turbocharged
With
with a
the
5-speed
turbo.
in them.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, I had a guy that worked with me at the college. He was a science teacher, and he was a machinist. So he did race, but what he did is he started getting into machining. And he told me, he goes, anytime you find a Pinto motor, he goes, let me know. He goes, I'm a buyer. He goes, and I'll pay good money for him. He goes, because the class that he was hooked up with, that's the motor everybody was using. And he says, right now, this is going back in the 90s into the early 2000s. He says, yeah, they're getting hard to find now.
Yep.
He says, so I'll pay. I will pay.
They put that motor in the turbo coupes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm telling you, there was nothing to play with.
Right.
And those cars, and the funny part was there was a lot of, I don't want to say there was a lot of held back on that. I mean, those cars, the potentials on those cars were could outperform a lot, but the technology, like you said, of suspension, tires, stuff like that wasn't there, but those cars had a lot of potential, and you got somebody in there and tweaked around on them, they would really go, and they get underrated on that stuff.
Yeah, there was a big forum. This is when the internet first came out, and there was a big forum with those on it, man, and those guys were getting some power out of them.
Yeah, and they did a lot. And
yeah,
used to see one or two of those down there when I was in Florida, and would go when they would have Moroso Motorsport Park. Was also God, who was the guy? Was one? They had it set up where they could do a road course or a drag strip, and was it not Bob Bondra? One of the known Skip Barber. It was Skip Barber had his driving school at there for a couple years, and they would host SCCA races and stuff like that. And that's actually where I bought my Team Marlboro Kenny Wallace, or not Kenny Wallace. What was his name? Kenny
Bernstein.
No, bikes.
Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's music.
No,
come on, Vince, you're supposed to catch that one.
We're not getting in the music section yet.
Well,
all right,
like,
hold on, right?
Guitars? No, that's not.
I tried.
But no, there was a couple guys had a couple of those Mercurs when they would have when they'd have it set up for the SCCA, and those things would just fly through there, and it's like, good God, those things are hauling ass.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah, they right after my last turbo coupe, I had a chance to buy one, but the damn body on it was just so rough.
You see, now that's not a bad looking car. Not by a long shot, that's not a bad looking car.
Yeah.
But then, I think it was the wing. I don't know. Was that a double? Was it a double layer
Double
wing? Was it? Was that the one, or was it?
This is the double wing. Mine was a single wing.
Okay.
They had single and double, and that was, like you said, something with the motor or the package.
Yeah, but that engine, man, that's, I tell you, the Honda with that VTEC engine is. I just got a thing for my buddy who's an retired auto crimes detective. Still the number one stolen cars, Hondas with the VTECs in New York. Yeah.
I thought it was.
It's no longer the '87 Oldsmobile Cutlass and the Honda Accord.
Well, Accord may be on there somewhere, especially if it has a VTEC.
Okay.
But not the not the Cutlass.
The Cutlass was the number one stolen car for a long time.
Well, where though? Because I know I get stats that are from here. I don't know. I don't like.
It was like a Mid-Atlantic. It was like a Mid-Atlantic thing.
Okay.
Yeah, you had the Accord, and what was the Caravan? The Caravan was the second thing.
Right.
And then
the Caravan was always there because they would,
use it to carry parts.
The Jeep, I don't remember which version it was. It was before the Liberties.
It
was Cherokee. Yeah, it was Cherokees.
Yeah.
There was a run in Montgomery County, early 90s, mid 90s, of Jeep Cherokee thieves. And I was getting $75 to $100 to rebuild steering columns on these busted up Jeep Cherokees after work.
Sure.
I'd do 2-3 a night.
Yeah.
I thought Kia had I thought Kia even got sued because somebody had figured out that they could steal it with like a matchbook and a rubber band. They could steal a Kia.
Yeah, that was going on. That was a fairly new one, though. That was in the last couple of years. I think they got that one corrected.
And Isaac is saying, why didn't somebody tell me?
Down here it was the Hondas, mostly the Honda Civics more so than the Accords, but Honda Accords, Honda Civics, and then it was square body Chevy pickup 4x4s. But they would steal the 4x4s because they'd take them across the border and then load them up with drugs, and they'd try to run them across the border. In fact, an old neighbor of mine, his dad had I want to say it was like a 77 or a 78 Chevy 4x4 truck, and it had gotten stolen, and they recovered it on the return trip. So they were running it through the desert, and I think it was Border Patrol stopped them and he got his truck back, but it was tore up. He got it back on the road and he fixed it, but yeah, it was his son that was telling me about the whole story, and that it was gone for, I want to say, 3 to 6 months before they got it back. But that's what they did, is they stole it. In fact, I think he said they stole it right there out of the driveway, and it was almost immediately they had reported it stolen, but even the police had figured it went from the driveway straight across the border. Like they opened it up and hauled butt across the border, and then when they found it, it was running a load. So
That's crazy, isn't it?
Ray, you could probably remember what year, I think, was it the mid 80s or so, that GM started getting a lot of flack because they were getting on the steering columns. They had gone from a metal sleeve to a plastic sleeve, and they figured out you could literally just bust that sleeve and then get in there and release the locks and stuff like that. If you just,
It must have been the 80s, yeah, because I know the 70s and the 90s were definitely metal.
because it was
Yeah, but
GM.
it was cast metal. It was real cheap metal.
It was easy to crack, yeah.
Because they were they had gone from the metal in the 60s and 70s on the columns to the ABS plastic.
Right.
And like I said, somebody figured out they could take a hammer and smash it, and then because the steering rod, the locks, all the rods and everything for the controls and everything were right there. If you knew what you were doing, you could pop it with a hammer, pop it, pop this, break that, and then start it up and drive it off in 30 seconds.
Yep.
Right.
My wife had an 81 Monte Carlo, and we bought this thing that literally was, metal, and it clamped all the way around.
I remember those things, Jim.
It has a little bar that
I'm looking because I thought it was up here someplace. I guess I have it down the
Jim, I'll
page.
tell you, the
it has
Grand
a little
National
bar
that I
that sticks up through the steering wheel too, so you
Well,
can't turn the steering wheel.
But the Grand National that I worked on at the shop many times, and that 442 that came in last year, both had that cuff on it still with the club, because these cars are parked since like the
That's
80s.
what it was. It was the club.
Yeah, the club.
Okay, let me
Hook
tell you a
up
story
with
about
the
the.
steering wheel and the brake pedal.
Let me tell you about a club. So the
Club was
club
no
was
problem.
invented in Pennsylvania, right by me, Sharon, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So one of my buddies was a deputy sheriff, and he was the spokesman. Remember the sheriff that
yeah,
had the club
Okay, here you go, Jim.
go.
on the commercial? You remember the commercial with the deputy sheriff?
Yeah.
So that's my buddy, right? So his car got stolen with the club in the back seat.
Oh man.
Yep.
He should have had the German Shepherd in the back seat.
Well, one of the things
Yep.
about the club is you could take liquid nitrogen and pour it on it and
Yep.
shatter
Right.
it.
Right.
Yep.
Hit it
Knock
with a
it-
hammer and shatter it. So it's
Knock the lock out. Yep.
They didn't have to do that. You all had to do was cut the steering wheel.
crooks.
Yeah, take a
in San
hacksaw and-
Antonio.
You will.
Cut
yeah.
the steering wheel. Plug comes on.
And now today, I mean,
Fox Body Mustang went to the movies, parked it, came out. The only thing in the parking spot was the club.
yeah, like now today, we have battery powered hacksaws. I mean, the Sawzall, the Milwaukee Sawzall, makes it easy. Back then, you have to sit there, so because there is a metal rim in the middle. But
So when I had my repo company, I would go to the repo conferences, and there was a guy down there. He sold all the thief tools, and he made tools that would break that club. Anything they came out with, if man made it, man can get by it.
yep.
So you could buy all those tools if you go to the right spot.
Yeah.
What's that old saying, Lewis? A lock is there to keep an honest man honest.
Yeah.
Very true.
That's
That's the
Very true.
truth.
So I'll tell you a funny story. It was back in '79. I was driving a Datsun 610, and I don't remember exactly how I did it. There was alcohol involved, a lot of it, I guess.
Mhm.
And I put the wrong key in the ignition and snapped it off. So I don't even remember how I got the car home. I don't know, but I do remember what I did after that. I went down to Datsun. They were still called Datsun, not Nissan at the time. And I wanted to get a replacement lock cylinder because I've changed them on plenty of American cars. Well, they wanted something like, I don't know, $250 in 1979. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I'll find a junk one. So I still had to drive the car. So what I did is I just took the the switch housing off of the lock cylinder, pulled it around the bottom of the column, and I put a stubby straight shot screwdriver into it, and I was able to just start the car. So I would do that, take the stubby out, throw it in the ashtray, and tuck the piece up under the dash. That was my security. And that was fine. I was doing that for a couple of years until one day I had to go in to the city. I was seeing my now wife, then girlfriend. I was going to meet her. She was working in the city. We're going to have dinner and go to a show. So I don't know, some shit. So I go into a parking garage. Go in, I get out of the car, and the guy said, whoa, wait, we can't park your car. I'm like, what? Why? I said, this one's not a stick, it's an automatic. No, that's not it. This car doesn't have a key. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, the screwdriver right there. You just turn it and take it out and, just throw it in the ashtray. I said, and that's how you start it again. No, we can't do that. I'm like, why not? I do it every day. He goes, well, how do we know it's not a stolen car? I said, you want to see the registration and my license? They wouldn't park the car. I said, I'm actually happy they didn't call the police, so I had to explain it. So I ended up going to the next lot, and that they were fine. I gave the guy like $10. He's like, yeah, shit, man, we'll park anything.
Yeah.
You can have an engine in the back seat running, we'll park it. I don't care.
So the late 70s.
I wasn't even thinking like, oh yeah, I got a screwdriver in the ignition lock. This is not going to raise suspicion, right? Because I was on it, you see?
Right.
Ray,
From the late 70s into the mid 80s, I got pretty good at stealing those with picks. I could pick locks and pick the ignition. I got pretty good with them.
Okay.
Maybe close to the 90s, up into the 90s almost.
Really?
And I had the chip. So you know how they came out like 86 with the chip on the key?
Well, from the VAT system, yeah.
VAT system. So I bought the machine that will reprogram it.
Yeah, there's only only like 30 or 40 different resistors.
Yeah, so when people will come pick up their cars from the repo lot, I have them give me their key, and then I'll give them my new keys that I made for their car.
Nice.
Yep.
Ray, I can remember all those years of working in the parts stores. Somebody would come in and go, "Hey, I need an ignition switch." So you'd come back out and go, "Here's your ignition switch," and they went, "Oh no, I need the thing with the." I said, "Oh, you mean the lock and tumbler? Because this is your ignition switch, and this is the lock and tumbler with the key set up."
Correct.
Oh, that's
terminology.
Ignition switch, lock it. Lewis motorcycles the same way. Yep. The Kawasaki's, it was two 6 millimeter bolts. You could kind of quickly get up under there and separate the ignition switch from the lock and tumbler.
Or you can use a dent pulley.
Yeah. Well, that was the other way, right? Whack. Exactly.
You're out of there.
Well, it was, believe it or not, it was both about as fast.
Yeah.
Because, it's only like two 6 millimeter bolts. You could, if you knew where they were at, you could spin them out, pop it loose, pop the lock for the triple trees, pop the lock up, kick the thing, and then you had power.
Sure.
Because same thing with Ray. I had that KZ that I had, my first one. Somebody wasn't paying attention and they twisted the key and snapped it off, and it's like, oh great.
Yeah.
Now I can't unlock the forks. I can't unlock the seat, and so I had to.
Yep.
Right.
So that's what I miss about repo and stealing. That was the funnest part.
Well, technically, you weren't stealing; you were retrieving unpaid for product.
Wayward property.
So one of my buddies had a repo company in Tennessee, and we went down and stayed with him for a couple of days, and we went on his boat. The name of his boat was Stealing for a Living. He had a big repo company. He was big dog.
Nice.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, some of them. Well, it's you're. I saw the series they ran a couple years ago, where they were following this one crew, and their specialty were aircraft.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Trying to find, because it'd be a citation or a jet stream or something, or and it's like those things, $3-4 million tied up in those things.
Yeah.
And
I knew those guys. They were part of the Florida. It's called FILAR. It's the Florida Repo Association or something. But they were all there. I met all those guys on the TV shows. Yep.
So where in the country are you now, Lewis?
I'm still in Arizona.
When are you going to be heading east?
I'm leaving Saturday. Then I'm gonna go visit Coach and then start heading my way over. But you know what? I might hold off a little bit because it's still cold in Texas and Florida, so I might hold off a couple days.
It's supposed to be 80 tomorrow, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
I know
So,
it's been.
but Tulsa, get your ass to Tulsa around the 19th, 20th, 21st.
Yeah, I'll probably be. Well, yeah, I might be around that way because I'm gonna stop in Texas. Somebody told us about a beach thing where you can park the buses on the beach, so I'm gonna do that too.
That'd
Hey,
be
Louis,
like down by Houston or Corpus Christi or something.
I'm not sure. They were just talking about it, but I'm not. I had to check my map and see.
Louis, one of your schoolie guys must have listened to the show that had you on it because he started following me today on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember his name now. Yeah, it's but he does. He's got a bus. I know that. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
So
you got another stalker.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game. Hey, you know what? Sometimes they end up being really good callers and guests.
Good friends. Yeah.
Yeah. So you take them when you can get them. You know.
Yep.
It's too bad that guy never got back in touch with you, Ray, about that. What was it, the Nikki or the
motion car? Yeah.
The ball and motion.
I don't know. Either this guy, I think, was smoking banana peels that day, or maybe he knew that that's the stuff that we talk about and gets a rise out of us, and he just kind of threw it out there. But he seemed like the guy was a little off. I don't know. He wasn't 100%, so I don't know. I think he was maybe dreaming a little. You know what? I can't worry about it. If he calls back,
I don't know.
he on it, but
sometimes that math ain't mathing.
yeah, right, exactly.
So,
hey, Coach,
So-
do you live on a cul-de-sac?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
that's the hard part about trying to have you store the bus here because, yeah, it's because it's a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, so I found somewhere close we can meet up and maybe do lunch and stuff because I got something for Coach. Check him out.
Nice.
Mr.
Came out
Coach,
real nice, Lewis. Very
Yeah,
nice.
that looks good. That looks good.
coming your way, baby.
Whereabouts are you? You're in West. You're like El Paso area.
Who, me?
Yeah,
No, I'm in Arizona.
you're in Arizona. Okay.
Yeah. He's on the west side of the state. I'm more towards the east side of the state.
you don't know anything about the kidnapping.
Yeah, that's been
You're
I'm
right
sure that's
there.
been all over the news there.
yeah, it's actually not that far from my house. To be honest, I mean, to be 100% honest with you, the fact that they went in the middle of the night and everything, it's just not that I'm high profile or anything, obviously, but it is a little nerve wracking because it's like, man, like I mean, we watch our surroundings. I'm probably the scariest thing in this neighborhood, so in that sense, I'm not too worried. I've been in worse neighborhoods, and of course, they're in a really, really nice neighborhood. Just the whole thing is real wonky. I mean, they mentioned how I guess they have cameras at the house, but and from the sounds of it, because I think they said that it either records on disc or VHS or something, and something about after so much time it records over itself.
Mm-hmm.
So from the sounds of it, it's not like a Ring camera. It's more of a hardwire system. At least that's what my guess is. But there's with the little bit that's been released, it doesn't sound like there's anybody's video Ring cameras or anything in that neighborhood got anything. Now the thing is that neighborhood, it's a real nice neighborhood, and the houses are spread out. There's a lot of desert foliage in front of the houses. Mm-hmm. So you even if the homes had like the Ring cameras, it's probably hit and miss what they would get because you have a lot of desert foliage in between the houses and stuff. But it is nerve-wracking. I mean, just the thought that somebody went up in the house and completely kidnapped her mother.
Yeah.
She went to the same high school that that I went to, she went to the same high school that I'm, same district, same high school that's down the street from where I work and where I'm going to be coaching football. Although at that time that she was in school, that was probably the nearest high school. She probably was on the bus, the school bus route. If they lived in that same house as she grew up, which I think she did.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, that their place is not. I would say their place is maybe 5 miles from me.
Wow.
In fact, just to give you some an idea, a while back I sent you a video. I think it was on Facebook, and it's you're going down the road, and as the road curves, you see the mountain right there. I don't know if you remember that video I sent you. That house is probably 2 to no more than 3 miles from where that video that I sent you. Yeah. So it's really not that far. And that bend in the road and everything is probably about 2.5, 3 miles from me. So she's that they're roughly about 5 miles.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's
Coach,
yeah,
are you in
it's
Pima County?
it's nutty. Yeah. So if you were to look up the map of Arizona, Pima County is actually a fairly big county. It's pretty big. Um, the city of Tucson is in Pima County. Um, the so there's the videos I've shared with you guys. I think I've shared it on the group. Um, it's the Fridays with Frank, the sheriff's deputy, and so that's Pinal County. We're Pima County. Pinal is like the next county up, and they're pretty big county too. I think they're close to as big as us, if not bigger. But my house itself actually sits in Pima County, and within a stone throw is the city limits. Like I could walk out into my backyard, throw a rock, and it'd probably hit the city limits. It in the area where I live, where the city's incorporated, and we have the town of Marana, Oro Valley, stuff like that. They kind of all come around us, and the square mile I live in is Pima County.
Coach, all I want to know is, Coach, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
In your house, do you have 2 different time zones?
Yeah, because I know it changes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we got 2 different time zones. You walk in, it says one time, and then you go upstairs because nobody sets the clocks. So it depends on which. It depends on if it's an hour ahead or hour behind. Where you got 2 different time zones in my house.
It depends on if I'm awake and if I'm asleep.
So when I was driving here, when I crossed the California border,
mm-hmm.
the time kept jumping back and forth, like
wow.
jumping ahead, jumping back.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can get in an area where you don't know what to do.
Yeah. Depending on where
you guys don't have time zone, right, Coach?
No, we don't.
You don't have spring forward, fall back, right?
No, and it's funny because I bought a like a desk or a clock for the dresser or whatever, nightstand clock, and it was real nice. It's digital. It's like high-end technology at the time. Like I bought it back in like 2009 or something like that. But
one of those space clocks, right?
Something like that. And I think it also has the thing where it puts the time. It's got a light thing where it puts the time up on the ceiling, so at night or when it's still dark you can see it. But this stupid clock, you set it in so technically we're Mountain Standard Time, except for when the clocks do their thing, then we're just Arizona time. And that stupid clock would roll back and forth And if I wasn't paying attention to when we were, my time would be thrown off. I was so mad at that clock. I was like, I do not like this clock. And then at one point I set it where it was Arizona time, and it's still at the roll back or roll forward, whatever, it would still try to roll. And I was like, forget it. I'm done with this thing. I unplugged it and haven't plugged it in since. It's become a paperweight.
We used to do
All
a
right,
Ren
fellas,
Fair
I'm
in
gonna be
Yuma.
calling
Later,
it
no
a night.
class.
Take
All
care,
right,
Paul.
Paul. Have a good week.
I
Right,
will,
cool.
Lewis. I'll be in touch with you next Thursday, and we can finalize if you're going to make it to Tulsa or not.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Take care. Yep.
Take care, Paul.
We used to
So-
do a Ren Fair in Yuma.
Oh.
And, right, you're on the California border. I mean, you know, and we had a lady that if she put her cell phone in her right hip pocket, it would read one time. If she put it in her left hip pocket, it'd read another time. And we used to tell her, we knew a lady that had an ass so wide it was in 2 time zones.
yeah.
She was literally about that skinny.
That's funny.
And
So we-
right, yeah, perfect time.
We were going to go down to the Yuma. We were going to go down there. Some of our friends went down to the Ren Fair.
We did that for years, and then we quit because we just never made any money at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Were you-
supposed to have the one come in. We saw a commercial for it the other day. The one come in, I don't know, I guess in a week or so, or maybe it's here. But it's up in Apache Junction. It's up in Florence, which is north of us. That's Pinal County area.
Mhm. I think that's
I
what
just-
Papa was.
Are you up near Florence right now, Papa Squirrel?
No, we're back in, yeah, we're near Florence.
For the Ren Fair?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Is it active now, or is it getting ready to start?
Oh no, it's been going for a week now. This will
Well,
be
there
the
you-
second weekend.
There you go. We saw the commercial, and my wife was asking my daughter if she's been, and she's like, no. And then she asked me, and I said, I've never been. And she goes, do you want to go? And I'm like, I really don't care one way or the other. I'm not, like, I'd be open to going and seeing it, but it's not a big thing for me. Like, I've known people that it was it was a big thing for them every year that they go, but
Yeah. So we're probably going to stop on the way over there, Papa Squirrel. I think we're leaving Saturday or Sunday.
You're going to see Debbie because I can't go into the fairgrounds because I'm not an employee.
Oh,
She'll be there because she'll be working in our friend's leather booth.
okay.
And I might sneak up to the back of it, but I can't go out into the actual festival itself because I'm only I'm a husband.
Well, that sounds highly discriminatory to me.
Yeah, right.
Quality control.
So yeah, we'll be around there either Saturday or Sunday, maybe Sunday.
Well, you go into the fair and you stop at Wild Phoenix Leather, and Debbie will be in there beating on pieces of leather, and she runs the workbench.
All right, cool.
so beating on a piece of leather, that's not code word for she's going to beat on you, is it?
No.
No. She uses
You're not over there doing this, are you?
no.
So let me run something by you guys because this just came up tonight and I've never seen it before. I decided I'm going to take my FJ into the shop this weekend and do an oil change, a tire rotation, check the brakes, all that good shit. So I didn't have an oil filter at home. I don't have the oil. I don't feel like going to Walmart tomorrow. So I said, you know what? I'll fucking order it off Amazon. Why not? So I go on Amazon. I put in the filter number. It's a PF 3614, very common filter. And the first hit that comes up is a PF 3614 FP, and they called it a fleet pack. Like, So the one under it was a bunch of either 10 or 12 filters for like $64, but this fleet pack was 22.20.
Yep.
I'm like, well, wow,
Cheap
how
as
many?
shit.
Well, no, I'm saying 22.20. How many filters are there? Because these filters should be like $6, $7, $8 a piece. They're not expensive filters, but it didn't say, and it said one. So I try at the bottom. There was they're slowly convincing me. There was an AI chat bar. It said, "Ask us anything." So I said, "Okay." I said, "Why is it 3614? How many filters are in a 3614 FP pack?" And it said, and I'm always surprised when I get a really intelligent, honest answer. It said the FP fleet pack filters, most people think there'll be more than one filter in the pack, but there's not. There's only one filter in that pack. So why they call it fleet pack, I don't know. And they said fleet pack was a term they used for packaging purposes. Because I looked at the comments and somebody said, it's way too expensive. Don't buy these. So I'm like, okay, it is one filter for $22. Then I found a listing for a single filter. I found a Bosch filter, like $7. So I said, okay. So I never heard of this fleet pack thing before, but if I don't know if you guys have. I was curious.
I did that with
Mine
the
at
tool
parts
truck.
store.
What did you do?
I did that with the tool truck because somebody goes, "Oh yeah, buy these filters," and I went, and it was a fleet pack, and they were just like generic white, and I got it was something like, I don't know, $85, and it had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It was 10. It was 10 in there.
See, I would have considered that if there were 10, but this really was just one filter. I'm like, damn, I'm glad I asked.
It showed a picture. It showed one, but it was a fleet. It showed one. It was a fleet pack. It was like a generic thing, and then of course, I had those, and man, those things were they were cheap. They were cheap. I had problems with them coming loose.
Okay.
They would unscrew. I couldn't get them. I could never get them tight enough on the truck. Man, they would rust around the where
flange?
where the flange was. Oh, they were terrible.
I think I showed you guys the filters I ordered a while ago for my Fiat. It's getting to be a hard number to find. It's a very big filter. And they sent me these filters that you'd think would go on a 4-cylinder. They're like half the size, but the mating is the same. It comes up in a cross reference. I haven't used it yet, and I'm kind of, I don't know. I think that I got.
That was like Ford had that with the. You could do that with the 1A. I think it was a 17A, and it was like half the size of the 1A. Because that was a big filter on the Fords.
Right.
Yeah, it was basically the same size, but it was literally like half of it, same diameter,
half
same
size. Yeah,
nothing, because you have where they mounted the oil, the pickup for the oil, if steering shafts or something run by there, and you couldn't put a full size filter on it, but that like a FL 300 or something like that
I thought it was a 17, but yeah, it was something like
my Turbo Bird was like that. You couldn't put a regular full size on it because it would hit, but you put that half and it snake right up in there and spin it up in there. And Ray, why didn't you look for a Toyota filter for that thing if you were on Scamazon?
Oh, I use Fram in a lot of stuff. It's I don't have to be brand specific with something like that.
I'm just saying that because I had worked I wrote service for Toyota for about a year and a half, and their stuff, their OEM stuff was pretty good.
Yeah. I didn't even look to see, and it didn't come up in the search either. Well, actually, that's because I looked by search by the partner, by the 3614 number. Amazon, I was hoping to find like a filter lookup, but I didn't see it. So you got to either put the number in that or something else. I don't know. So
I've done that before with diesel filters and stuff. Just got in like not because I don't use Google, I use Bing, but same thing. You could just put in, fuel filter and throw the number in there, and it would pop up a Fleet Master or Fleet Guard.
Fleet Master. That's what it was. Fleet Master.
What's the other? Davidson, Donaldson. I mean, just just start putting the big, the truck filter stuff. So, like I said, I'm not a big Donaldson guy. Like I said, with this Kenworth, I've been putting Packard filters in it. My ISX, I ran Lubrifinder because that was the factory. That was the Cummins filter was the Lubrifinder. So, I seem to have better luck with them. Wix is always a decent option too. So
Wix is good stuff as well. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yep. Hey, Coach, how fast can you get Amazon at your place?
Depends on what we order, but it's pretty much like when my daughter orders on Prime, we can get certain things like the next day.
Because I might have to get some sent to your house so I can pick it up when I drop your stuff off.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Would that be okay?
Take the box and
that'd
put
be
it
fine.
in the closet. Don't open it. Don't look at it. Don't weigh it. Don't put it in a radar machine. Just put it in the closet and cover it with coat.
Hey, don't let the police look in it.
Don't let the dog sniff it.
keep it between 52 and 68 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Louis, you'll mention that. Speaking of these filters, that stupid the Fleet Pack filter. It also said it would ship like it typically takes like 8 days to ship. When I found the other filter and the oil, I'll have it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it even asked me, do I want it between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. or 7 a.m. and 11 a.m.? I was like, wow, I've never seen that before.
So here at Quartzsite, 2 weeks, no matter what, 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Louis, it sounds like you need to look on the local area and look for an Amazon drop box.
I did. There's one about 30 minutes from here, but it's the same thing, 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I remember seeing those in some of the big truck stops. You walk in there and go, what the hell is this big yellow orange box thing? It's like, hi, I'm Amazon, crazy name or something. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's if you're coming through here.
I guess there's no hubs anywhere close.
Yeah, just when you order it, give me a heads up, and then when you get the notification, it's here. Again, shoot me a text. I can let my son or my daughter know. My son, as long as he's not out in the field, if nobody's home, he works like about a mile or two away, and he'll shoot down and get it. We haven't had a problem with porch pirates, but more so than anything, if you let me know, we can make sure it's here, because the next street over, which is also a cul-de-sac, we sometimes get their stuff and they get our stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And at that rate, I'll know to go over there and knock on their door, and they're pretty good about getting, we're pretty good about swapping each other's stuff. But that more so happens with FedEx. I was actually in the driveway underneath the hood working on my car. FedEx driver comes by. He's like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, oh, I'm doing good. How are you? And he goes, great. Drops off the package, gets in his truck, drives off. I'm like, I wonder what my daughter ordered. I didn't order anything. And I'm like, that's a pretty big box. And it's the middle of the summer. It was hot as could be. I finished working, and then I go look at it, and it says must be refrigerated. Something about
It was a heart.
no, it said something about perishable, and I was like, what the hell is this? So I start looking. I look at the label. It's for the people down the street, and it was they've got all kind. They got like a zoo in their yard. I think they have a snake, because I think it was like frozen rats or something. And I'm like, why did they deliver this here? And then I look at the address, and I'm like, God dang it, they did. And I said, and worse yet, the guy walked right by me. So
yeah. So I got a monitor for my cameras. and the 360 system that I bought won't plug up to that monitor. So I'm thinking, oh, I'll just cut the cables and I'll, splice them and stuff. So my monitor is an older monitor and it won't work with the new system I bought. So I got to get a different monitor.
Yeah.
So I might order. I'll let you know for sure though.
Yeah, yeah. That, and like I said, they order they come through pretty quick. If it's Prime, it usually, and it'll tell you. Like I know when my daughter's ordered stuff for me, she'll say, I know it's Prime, but it's not next day. It'll be here in like 2 or 3 days, or
Right.
like it'll tell her when she plugs in our address. So,
Okay.
yeah. So, but other than that, it's fairly quick. If it's something like you would get it pretty fast at home,
Yeah.
it'd probably be about the same here.
All right. Yeah, I'll let you know. I appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. I think the big thing is we have an Amazon hub here in town.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
there's one in Phoenix, there's one, and then with courtside, it's probably coming from Phoenix, so it has to not only get there but make its way down.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Coach, it's hard to go places and not see Amazon warehouses.
That's true.
Yep, they're taking over the world.
I remember coming out of I had made a delivery in New Jersey at what's the for the casinos and stuff in Jersey, the Atlantic City. I was on my way back going down towards Bryan's land, coming out of New Jersey there, and they had a huge. It's like, good God, and it was the typical gray and light blue colors. The Amazon, it's like,
yeah, there's a huge one when you enter into Charlotte too. I guess I forget if it's on 77 or 485, but it's big.
Yeah, they were putting one in not too far from here. I went across the river, and I don't know why. I don't even know why I was over there, but it's not that far, and I went across the river. I went down the way, and I look over, and I'm like, what is this big, huge complex they're putting in? And I got home, and I was telling my daughter about it, and she goes, oh, that's the Amazon place. And I'm like, seems like it went up overnight. I mean, not that I go over that way that much, but when I did, I was like, I didn't know nothing about this. And although that one, I don't know if it's up and running because I guess they got it, the buildings all put together and everything. This is probably about a year and a half ago. Buildings put together and everything ready for operational. And at that time, I guess it was on the news that something held it up, and it's there, but they weren't able to, like, some type of bureaucratic tape, I guess. But I'm sure it's up and running now.
Yeah.
Well, I know they got an Amazon warehouse not that far from the base.
Yeah.
Because we used to go past it all the time when we'd head back home because
is it in that complex area by the the big power plant?
No, it's more towards the where the hell is the Amazon warehouse?
In what state?
In Tucson.
Pick a state.
Pick one.
When we used to go past it when we left the base and went.
Which base?
Papa Squirrel's not enough information. Come on, you got to be specific.
Davis Mothern. And yeah. Oh. Yes.
Off of Cold. Yeah.
Yeah, right near the freeway.
Well, maybe if we all brought our wives on with us, we'd get everything right. Maybe
we could.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be. I still wouldn't translate it right.
Ray, I don't know about you, but it's a 10-mile radius from my house. There are 3 Amazon warehouses.
I know they wanted to put one right here in Freeport. Big piece of property, and the town shut it down. They didn't want it. They want to put one in Massapequa where the mall was, and
Oh,
That they say may come back, but it was taken off the table a while ago. I don't actually know where the nearest one to here is, although what I did order said to me, because of the proximity of how close the warehouse is to you, you will have this in the morning. So that could be the same one that's by you, because that's only 30,
well, there's
20-minute
one right
drive.
off the LIE at exit 40.
Okay.
There's one. Where is that one? That's over in Melville. One good thing about where I live, you go 3 miles west and you hit Melville, and there's one of everything.
Right. Now, Melville.
FedEx, Post Office, DHL.
Yeah.
From
there,
you get it.
From there, all I got to do is LIE. They get Seaford Oyster Bay down to Sunrise Highway, and they're at me. So it is close. It is close. But,
crazy.
Yeah. So
I remember when I would go to Port Newark in Jersey.
Dude.
Right before, well, I would go down. I would go to Port Newark in Jersey, and I would load usually Volvos and Saabs at the time, going into the Carolinas.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that it was, I think, because I got off at the same exit where by the airport, because it was like I would go by parking, and I would go past it, and then they'd have the big oil tanks and the fuel tanks.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the lot where we used to pick the cars up was right there behind the fuel island, or the fuel tanks. And the exit before that there was an IKEA or something, and one of the locals there was saying, yeah, that's the largest IKEA on the East Coast or something. And I was like, I've never been to an IKEA, even to this date. It looks big.
They're pretty big.
Yeah, but that one on right there on the turnpike was huge. It's like, good God, that's a big IKEA. And they went, no, that's the largest one on the East Coast. I went, okay, I'll take your word for it. It's huge.
Yeah, we were up in Phoenix one time, and the first time I ever been to an IKEA, and on our way back or whatever, we were like, hey, let's go check it out. And we went in and just wandered around aimlessly. So it was kind of fun.
There's a big one in Jacksonville. If I was to ever get some time, I would probably, because it's only a couple hours away, I'd hit that one in Jacksonville. And hell, I would go down there because there's a my ex always laughs at me because I always forget the name of it. I call him the Angry Beaver. The
Buc-ee's?
No, they did the clothes. Duluth Trade. There's a Duluth outlet.
Yeah.
And I do, in all honesty, I wear a Duluth jacket. I got Duluth pants on now, and I love their flannels. The Duluth flannels are.
I thought you said you didn't wear pants when you do this show.
Well, sometimes I have to. It's in the low 40s and upper 30s.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, I know we have heat where I live, so.
Those old knees just.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, we've had a little bit of a break. We haven't had to run the heater this week.
Yeah.
It's been chilly, somewhat chilly at night, but we haven't had to run the heater.
I'll tell you, my daughter in Charlotte had more snow than we had here, man. They got whacked. They got walloped.
Wow.
They were afraid they were going to lose power. That's the real issue.
Yeah,
that's the only place I've been this week. Or Monday and Tuesday, I went to I went to Pine. What do they call it? Pine something, which is
Pineville.
right there. Pineville.
Matthews Road. That's 51. That's right by. That's not far from where she lives.
Yeah, it's go down to Westinghouse Boulevard, hang a right, go down to Hobbs or something, and it's a big Amazon warehouse right there across from where I was offloading.
Got it. Yeah, you're right. That's right in the neighborhood. Yeah.
That's the 2 trips I've made this week.
Wow.
Was Pineville.
We'll be going back probably in a month or two.
All right, guys, time for me to cut out.
Any prospects, Jim, on the work side or what?
Got one lead. Sent my resume. Haven't heard anything back yet.
What are you applying for?
One of these engineering companies, and remember I was talking about maintaining the traffic management systems?
Yeah.
These guys manage the traffic management system in New York City.
Great.
And my ex-partner from this job, who was talking to those guys, said, hey, wait a minute, I just got a guy. He lives on Long Island. He'd probably be perfect for you guys.
Uh-huh.
So we'll see where that goes.
Well, good luck.
I'm hoping. Thank you.
Okay.
So you work on the civil engineering side?
No, electronics.
Oh, okay.
I work with civil engineers, but I do all the electronic stuff. They tell me where to hang it.
My father-in-law, he's from Long Island, and he was a civil engineer here in Tucson, and it's kind of nice when we lived in an apartment and the the main traffic light didn't have an arrow and it didn't last long enough to make a turn, and my wife called Dad and said, "Hey, there's a problem here. Can you get a light put in?" And all of a sudden, a light appeared.
There's a guy
Shazam.
I've been seeing on YouTube. I think he's called like the traffic light guy, and he does videos. I think a lot of his stuff. I think he's in Florida. He is an engineer, and he'll go into the box and show you what's in there and show you what the controllers do and little tips and tricks and things. It's pretty informative. You know, it's nice when you've never seen behind the curtain. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
All
Take
right,
care.
Jim.
All right, we'll see.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off too.
All right, so let's end this soiree for the masses, and we'll
All right.
go on.
Go ahead.
Take us out, Brian.
Yeah, Ron.
See ya.
Wait a minute.
Adios, amigos.
Figure out how to sneak into his quarters first.
Alexa, stop. All right, it's all right. All right, what was I doing?
I don't know.
All right, hold on.
Ending the show.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming and thanks for checking out Playing in Traffic. We do this every Thursday night at 9 o'clock. So please share, like, and subscribe. We'll see you next week.